Tell us about Detox Nation. I know your business intimately well and how many lives you've changed that were dealing with very severe chronic conditions that went undiagnosed or maybe overdiagnosed, or people living in pain and sickness. And you have created a vehicle to turn that narrative around.
Well, we do root cause resolution. We see our job as empowering people to be the CEO of their own health. We can be your guides and your navigators and your practitioners, but you're still driving your own bus. And what I want for anybody interacting with us, whether it's in our virtual practice, our clinic in San Diego, or on our online campus, is everything you learn from us to understand how to apply it to yourself. Oh, that's why I'm feeling this way. Oh, that symptom means this. Oh, I have control over it because I know what my body's trying to tell me, and I know these tools are available to me because of this training. I know when to dose up. I know when to dose down. You should be using your practitioners as guides and navigators. I don't ever want anybody to be in a position like I was of like walking into a specialist office that you'd been on the calendar for 3 months. You get 10 minutes with them and you're saying, please fix me. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Your labs look fine. The fixing is never going to happen outside of you. The locus of control is within. Use us as your teachers, as your navigators, as your practitioners, as your support system. But the good and the bad news is it's all you, babe. You're the one that's going to make the food choices, take the pills, have better boundaries with people in your life that don't deserve your energy while you heal. You're the one that's going to pull out the Glade air fresheners. Yes, it does make a difference. Stop pissing off your immune system and your brain with that stuff. You know, it's really irritating to you.
I want to kind of unpack your model, because there's a lot of practitioners who are listening who have always struggled with like how to serve many. Your whole thing, you said when you were selling seashells by the seashore, you wanted to save the world, one puffy painted seashell at a time. But you still have that same mission for healing. And I know most of the time people come to you because they have gut stuff going on or definitely inflammatory conditions. And you've figured out a way to go from one to many. And I've seen you grow year over year to multi-7 figures, approaching 8 in a very, very short period of time, which just kind of proves how magnetic this movement is. In less than 5 years, you've reached, hundreds of thousands of people. Tell us about this whole group dynamic, groups and summits and all the things. You always talking to many people.
Well, you're not going to like my answer. I didn't like it either. So it still starts with the one-to-one practice. And I know it feels so frustrating to be trapped in this dollars per hour model where it's just like this fast track to burnout when you don't have enough structure around to protect you as a practitioner and you're only being able to help one person at a time. And your heart is really telling you more people need you than that. And also you need to be able to scale your income to support your family. I know it sucks, but you're still going to start there. You need to sell in packages so that the people who work with you feel safe enough to step up and do the deep work because they're in. You don't want to be in a position of having to convince somebody when to come back to you for a 3-month or 6-month tune-up. First of all, it's too much pressure on you and there's not enough responsibility on them to do work in between. So you don't see as good results. Your compliance is lower. And so your clinical outcomes are not as good. And therefore, your people are not referral billboards for you. So it's better for them and it's safer for you if you sell in packages, so a few sessions at a time. And depending on your emphasis and your model and, your specialty, that might vary. It might be 30 days or 90 days, or 30 days would be weekly, 90 days would be every couple of weeks. This is going to give you the stability you need and the container they need to get consistent results. In the beginning, you need a pretend assistant that you're answering in somebody else's voice. I had Jessica or Renee or something.
Yeah.
Something that sounded like a receptionist name. And she would be the bad guy. And then I would save those as templates for the executive assistant I would bring in. Wasn't really an executive assistant. It was a VA for a couple hours a month, and then a couple hours a week, and then a couple hours a day. So in the beginning, it is those packages. And then you translate the system that you're using in your packages into small group where you're doing the same thing, but with 5 to 10 people at a time in person, but mostly online, even if they're all locals. Those are your training wheels in the beginning. And the things that you say all the time, like I still have a place in my chart notes for clinical gems. And if something falls out of my mouth that I know belongs in a course or needs to be said all the time, I'll write it down at the bottom and an assistant will scrape that out of the chart notes, once a week or once a month. That is how you build very, very slowly. You build one PDF at a time. This is the thing I always give out, whether it's about food stuff or whatever. Stop trying to build a group course too early before you have enough momentum to really understand and own and get guaranteed results. If somebody's showing up and doing the work, they can get a result from your method. If you're not there yet, you should not be doing groups?
Well, a lot of people out here try to start with groups. I know you run your groups, these cohorts of sorts, where there's a lot of people kind of working on similar, body system, the liver, the gut, the gallbladder, the pancreas. She's got all kinds of body system courses. But no, she's got this amazing brand of rapid gut reset and rapid liver reset and all of these different mini courses of sorts, because they're not long, they're 6 to 8 weeks long. People are moving through this healing experience in a group capacity, like hundreds of people at a time. And I think that that is extremely powerful for those that are able to kind of create that experience in their own business. Don't you help practitioners with this?
No, we have a practitioner mentorship. We call it Root Cause Practitioner Mentorship. We do it once a year. I think it's essential to understand these skills to survive as a practitioner in this time. Clinically, what we all went to school to learn is no longer enough. And everybody from health coaches to surgeons is willing to admit that if you're paying attention right now. But also the business piece, because you cannot afford to burn out. You have an ethical responsibility to build a business model that is sustainable for you. You cannot serve from an empty cup. You do not want to be me ending up in the hospital like, oh, I think my health issues finally deserve full attention. Nobody deserves that. I'm happy to share that and train people, especially because it's such an urgent issue in our time. But you asked about group stuff and how to amass a large audience.
I know you invest a lot in it, but you have a huge audience across multiple channels.
It's not an accident. It's relentless work. So don't go into magic going, I just want to go viral. That's silly.
It's not that easy.
Grow up. It's about consistency and really delivering value. It's a lot more work than you want it to be. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong necessarily. When I'm constantly reminding my team and all the practitioners that we're training up around us, it is not about you and it's not about the clinical pearl. It's about the experience that the audience is getting from being with you. All you want to do is get them into action, get them into taking the next step so it doesn't feel so insurmountable because they don't have a sorting mechanism for what their body needs and how to prioritize it. They have to build that. If you can help them build that within your specialty, then you will get a ton of loyalty. And nothing cuts through the noise like authenticity. Don't be ChatGPTing like the top 10 things that arthritis people need to hear. Don't do that. Talk to one person that needs to know it's going to be okay and they have more control than they know. And that is when you're going to get momentum. And that's when you'll get onto stages too. Show up and deliver huge value. Just give it away. You've got plenty more where that came from.
If you found this clip from the Power Moves Health Marketing Podcast to be helpful, then check out the next video or watch the full episode here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next big move in health marketing. Thanks for watching.